like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat. Like a hell. Like a Hellcat.
Can you hear us now, stream? It looks like we can. Sorry about that. Had ourselves some problems. Welcome back to the Surrey Esports League. My name is Jake Hiprain Matthews. Joining me is Matt Foxhound Ruin. Almost tripped over there.
Yeah, almost a little bit. So ruined my intro completely there. But hey,
we had a great one.
Yeah, we did have a great one, but you know, it was all ruined by technology, which does hate me. Anyway, tonight we are looking for another fantastic punchy game from the second night of the Surrey Esports League. I'm hyped. Are you guys hyped? Hiprain, are you hyped?
I'm hyped. I'm very hyped. So yes, we are here. Sorry, we were a bit worried, but we couldn't hear us. Cool. So tonight is going to be Ginyu for Swag taking on Big Surrey, the Surrey University team. So quite excited about that. Both teams are very equally matched up. We're looking at high tier diamond players. Well, I'm Diamond 5, so they're not high players.
They're higher tier than you.
A lot higher than me. This is actually going to be a best of 3, unlike last night. And hopefully, unlike last night, I won't be DCing the whole time and leaving my co-caster to solo cast the entire time. So, yes, we're going to have a best of 3 due to, let's see what team it was. It was Warriors of E have dropped out. So that does mean that Louder Syrup, if you are watching today, you will not be playing, but you have progressed yourself through to the semi-finals. So take your free pass and run with it, because you're going to be playing against either Ginyu 4 Swag or Big Surrey. Watch today and learn and see what they are going to be playing into you.
Yeah, did we check the emails? They're not just the same team. They've dropped themselves out on purpose. Now they've seen that they got their second chance. They've got that straight shot to the semi-finals. So yeah, best of 3 between Ginyu 4 Swag and Big Surrey tonight. We've met both teams before. Big Surrey, obviously.
I met Big Surrey. Actually, I've casted Big Surrey's Overwatch team, so I've not seen their league team yet. So I'm very excited to see what we're going to have. We're in ourselves into picks and bans as both teams are getting themselves ready to go onto the Rift and take each other down. Let's see what we're going to get banned. I'm expecting a Syndra ban. Do you reckon you can see any Assassin's bans? Yesterday we only had the Rengar, and that is the only Assassin we saw, and I think that was the only ban we saw on the Assassins.
The things we've seen with Assassins recently is obviously Assassins are new and scary. A lot of people are just taking their comfort picks. We might see a couple of Assassin bans come out. Might be something we see just on some of the focus bans. So yeah, the Rengar ban might be a real sort of possibility. But I think we're probably going to see those comfort bans again.
We've had a Skarner. They were talking. I think we had a DC, so we're going to take ourselves back to the lobby and get ourselves loaded in.
Secret Skarner ban has been shown.
Secret Skarner ban. Skarner was actually a placeholder, so they're just going to wait for 2 people to load themselves back in before we come back. And so as our streamer, they've crashed. What a fun time. Right, so we'll carry on talking. Talon is actually the assassin, in my opinion, who is strongest on this patch in the assassin meta.
He's so
hardcore Talon.
mobile.
His damage is so there. The fact his Q is now his jump, it's obviously allowed him to get that E, which is now the walled hop. I haven't tried it, but I have been thinking quite a lot about playing Talon as a jungler.
Yeah.
Just because the ability he has to get over walls, his ganking potential is huge now.
Yeah, we were talking about it fairly recently, and I think what we did sort of debate on is all his gold and all his pressure would basically have to come from his kills. However, he would be near impossible to ward well against just because of those hops. He would run really good with an AP mid laner. If the AP mid laner took a hit and bought an Ohm Wrecker, then Ohm Wrecker could obviously stop the towers, and Talon can tower dive really confidently with that wall hop. One of the dangerous things about Talon with that wall hop is anyone who's played a game with a Talon in at the minute, it's GG no SS mid at the minute. As soon as Talon leaves his lane, he can be up at top lane or up at bot lane so quickly, and you've really got to keep your eyes on him.
Yeah, he's the stealth's really, it's the same ultimate, but now the fact he just has so much more damage in his kit, so much more mobility in his kit, it's just so horrible to play into that. Also, going into this whole invisibility versus camouflage thing, obviously they've have changed the way that works. It looks like we're going to get ourselves back into pick and ban. If we see a Rengar, keep in mind that he stays invisible for so much longer now.
Yeah.
And you have that horrible Scion drum, which you're not going to be able to hear because I'm the one with the headphones.
Yeah, I'm poor. I don't have them.
There's only one headphones that fit in this.
Well, this is unfortunately, this is what happens. Anyone who's interested in casting, if you go into color casting, prepare to get absolutely shut down by your play-by-play.
It's all about us.
He has to carry. He has to play-by-play. He has to have the headphones, and he's going to have to start us on the picks and bans tonight.
It's Jin is our first ban. Not too unsurprising. Although that Skarner ban wasn't a placeholder, it was a legitimate ban. So they banned the Skarner.
You thought it was a placeholder. It was legitimate all along.
It used to be, because back in the day when I started casting, Skarner was the placeholder champion because no one played it, but then they did change it. So it's not massively strong, but I understand why they banned it. Before we go into anything else, Nikolai, if you're watching, why have you got a picture of Timon on your desktop? Thank you for letting us use your computer, though, because I have no internet. But why have you got a picture of Timon on your desktop?
It means no worries. for the rest of
Talon
your
got
days.
banned?
There
Ari
is
got
the
banned.
Talon ban, yeah.
Ari's actually quite strong into assassins, being an assassin mage mix herself. She has really good wave clear, and she's so good at cancelling these kind of assassins who
Charm
dive
is
on you.
really useful for
Yeah.
that as well.
So something R picks up Jace, nothing too unexpected here. Really, really strong
Yeah,
top
the Syndra
laner.
is open, the Jace was open, the Kennen is open. There's a lot of open, strong champions at this moment.
I'm liking the Alistair ban as well, because Alistair got a change in his kit this
Trample
season.
is horrific.
So Trample's Trample is it's basically his passive, and Triumphant Roar got swapped because Trample used to be his passive, but now it's a castable ability. We're seeing Larkin, he's going to pick up the Karma as his support champion there. Maybe the Hecarim, and they do actually take the Hecarim, so looking to like really run at them. Karma's a great pick into that. Maybe we're going to see a Sivir pick up with that Hecarim, and then you're going to just see make this Hecarim run at you and get run over by the pony comp. We'll see what they're going to do with that. Vayne's going to be our next pick, actually, so going for that low range AD carry into already what looks to be a poke.
It's an interesting choice into something, unless, of course, they're gambling on the Karma being taken mid. More likely, of course, the Karma is going to be in the bot lane as a support. They're going to take the Janna as well, so a very, very disengaged heavy comp. If the Karma's going bot, it is going to be a very pokey thing. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Sivir or a Caitlyn or a the Draven lock-in is, or the Draven hover is there as well.
This is one of the times where Draven actually works. He's quite a weak AD carry. I say a weak AD carry. He's a snowballing monster of an AD carry, just like Vayne. But there's very few matchups that he works into. Vayne is one of those matchups. However, the Ezreal would be a more legitimate pick. Ezreal is such a more staple pick. He does have that late game scaling, but Noodle Boy playing on this Ezreal with the Karma, Vayne is going to have a horrible time. And actually, Ashe, another good pick. Lots of poke, lots of pin down. And they take the Cassiopeia in that mid lane as well. So we're going to see how they're going to answer this mid lane. It might be a Victor, because Victor's normally the answer into Cassiopeia.
We've got a lot of... if you were to take an assassin mid lane into this comp, you'd have a hard time. There's a lot of poke, a lot of CC, and a lot of just raw power coming out at someone who would dive in there. Cassiopeia, obviously a great choice going in. Ashe is someone I absolutely love. Once she's got that Runaan's Hurricane on her,
oh please,
be pushing.
Please
the Galio,
take
man.
the Galio. Galio is one of my secret OP champions, and actually, there's very little to cancel the Galio ultimate, and they're all quite short range. So if that Galio does get picked, we have 17 seconds. Please, for the love of God, take that Galio. And no, he's going to switch to the Annie potentially here. Rob knows, playing with my heart.
Yeah, we're Galio.
Galio is a weak character. He's very good in low elo. So if any of you guys are stuck in the bronze, we're gonna actually have a Morgana. So that's gonna be a Morgana mid. Yeah. So that's actually a really good pick into Cassiopeia because you got the spell shield, and they also Lipsis is taking up the Master Yi here. I don't think the teams are completely in lane order, although that's what I was expecting.
No, have a couple of swaps around.
We'll see. We'll see how they go with that.
It'll be fine. Yeah, so this bot lane's can be really interesting because obviously Vayne is very, very high damage, and if she can tumble into a position to condemn Ashe into a wall, Janna has the disengage and the shuffle to keep people away.
Yes,
it could be really, really horrible. Bit of an interesting hover. I severely doubt we'll see.
No, I think he's
Victor
listening
hover.
to the stream and he's hearing me talk about how Victor's an answer into Cassiopeia. That's the only reason I can think Mr. Beast Gamer is picking that
So
up.
he's ghosting, is what you're saying.
Although he is on 3 seconds, he has 2 seconds to change. Let's see. And oh my lord, we're gonna have ourselves a Victor in this game as well as the Cassiopeia. Let's see how the lane assignment goes. That's a Cassiopeia in the top lane. Actually, something Huni did a while back was Cassiopeia top lane, so we're gonna see exactly what's gonna happen. Well, red side having them blue side, sorry. Ginyu Force having a little bit of a jump.
Well, they did say earlier on in the lobby, they did say that sometimes they like to, and I quote, fruit machine their roles. So Ginyu Force they're a really crazy team. They're the kind of team that sort of come at you really hard, come at you really fast. They like to sort of do a bit of a shock and awe technique, if you will, and sort of crash against you before you've got a chance to really get going. Obviously, Victor in the mid lane, one thing he's going to have a trouble with is he's going to have that very slow early game in the sense that he's going to have that wave clear, but obviously he has to build up that hex core first.
Yes.
I expect to see a jungler focus from Hecarim onto the mid lane just to get him going.
He's also going to get shoved in super heavy by this Morgana. That's something Morgana excels at doing, is just putting that Tormented Soil down, queue onto one minion, pin them all in place, and you just freeze it. We're going to take ourselves into our spectator delay here, guys, while we break down what's going to happen in this game. Who do you think is going to take this, Big Surrey or Ginyu Force? I need to ask.
I do prefer. Well, see, the Cassiopeia is really throwing me off. Actually, I do sort of prefer the comp of the of Ginyu Force. Big Surrey. I'm a big fan of Victor mid. I love Ashe in the ADC role. Karma as a support or a mid laner, but I see as a support brings so much to the team. And she's got speed, shields, poke. She's got so much to keep that.
She's such
alive.
A utility champion.
So heavy.
Yeah.
When we get to the team fight stage, if Larkin can land a 5-man stun as the Cassiopeia, look at what we can get coming in. We've got Karma attacks. We've got Hiprain diving to the back lane, cutting people up. We've got the Ashe arrow on anyone who tries to escape. And of course, the Chaos Storm from Victor, just burning through everyone entirely. They've got such a heavy team fight in the late game.
Yes.
Big Surrey are the ones I'm going to look for. But in the earlier game...
I actually think their earlier games pretty decent. I mean, this top lane is going to be the only one where the early game might be a little bit different. Something on that Jace. Jace has a range advantage on Cassiopeia. I see why they took the Cassiopeia, because there's very few matchups that go well into Jace in that top lane. Cassiopeia is a champion who does do well into Jace in the mid lane. Send it top. You do sacrifice then a tank, and you have to kind of just completely revolve around Larkin snowballing out of control. But the only tank they're going to have is going to be the Hecarim. And I don't think that's going to be a full tank Hecarim.
No,
you're going to see that kind of mix of tank and damage. So there's not going to be a true tank. However, the same goes for Ginyu Force. They actually don't have a single tank on their team. None of those champions scale at all well with the tank. At least Hecarim kind of brings something if he's a tank, but you kind of want that hybrid on him.
Because you need him to dive to the backline and things like that. That's what Hecarim's love doing. One interesting thing to note about Ginyu Force swag is if they make a pick, they're going to make a pick really hard. Obviously, Jace can poke people out, and he can use his acceleration gates to get that final thing. They've got a lot of shuffles and CC going on.
Did you say final shot blast?
Yeah,
Accelerate
gate shot blast to get that final burst of damage in. Morgana's got her stuns. Yi will do what Yi's do. Condemn coming out, and Janna is actually, as well as having very good disengage, if you set up a stun or a root or a snare on a member of Big Surrey, Ellipsis is going to be the one who's going to keep the rest of Big Surrey away from whoever they pin to the wall.
Yeah.
So Ginyu Force swag, I do think they have a slightly looser team composition. However, their picks are going to be really, really hard.
If that Yi goes off, I think we've all had it. Well, I think everyone has had it. I don't think there's a person who's played League of Legends in the last 6 years this game has been out, or 7 years now, I think. Well, you haven't seen a Master Yi go off at least once.
Yeah.
Although I think I've had more games in my time of playing League of Legends where Yi hasn't gone off and has fed horribly.
Only when he's on your team.
Only when he's on my team. Yeah,
of course.
It's always when they're against you. Great when they're against you. Terrible when on your team. Just like everyone I ever played with.
That's fair. Can anyone say ranked?
God. So yes, there's a lot of damage that they can put out in the late game. Yi late game, if he gets to that point. Keep in mind that there's the new item will work on him. I can't remember the name of it. The one with the spell shield.
No, not redemption.
No, I can't remember what it's called. But it's the AD/magic resist ability. Magic resist item. The one that gives him that spell shield, which has a 1.5 second channel. Providing you didn't take any poke or any damage in that time, you then get a spell shield, which then means their kind of pin down potential on him, they lose a bit of that. I mean, it's only one ability, but if that's an Ashe arrow, let's say that is an Ashe arrow, that's an Ashe arrow wasted. If that's a Hecarim charge, that's a Hecarim charge wasted. If that's a Victor laser, that's half of Victor's damage, like initial burst damage gone. And then he also still has his Alpha Strike available to him, so he has the ability to block a bit more damage. So all in all, he actually does have the ability to get on top of the team and actually avoid quite a bit of the initial burst damage, considering this is a massive burst damage comp.
Well, I mean, and obviously he's going to pick up the Skirmisher Saber, which means when he does get to that point where he's just speeding around the map, he's got the Rogue One skin for December coming out soon. He's going to be able to sit on people, and that Skirmisher Saber is just going to allow him to do so much damage to a single target.
Yeah.
Later on in the game, if he meets Hecarim in the jungle, he has a much better kit for dueling.
He has a better clear initially than Victor as well.
Yes.
I'm actually very excited to see how he works
Sorry,
on
Hecarim in the jungle.
Hecarim, yeah.
Victor.
Yeah, I went with that as well.
Yeah. Thanks,
Master
man.
Yi with the new Raptors, because obviously I don't think his Alpha Strike hits all of them, if I remember right.
No, it misses one.
But something to keep in mind is Hecarim's taken the new Keystone. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one where basically you get a massive shield, and that shield's on a 10-second cooldown.
Yes.
Basically, if you hard CC someone, which his ultimate will do, I don't think the E counts because it's not a hard CC, but his ultimate will count as that. He gets a shield for every enemy around him plus a percentage of his health. So that means that he probably will lean towards the tank. As we load ourselves onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Ginyu for Swag versus Big Surrey in the best of 3. Who will take game 1? Let us know in the Twitch chat who you are supporting and who you want to win. Keep your eyes peeled for the big planes here as we get ourselves ready onto the Rift.
Absolutely. Now, I would expect to see a fairly normal stack forward. In these best of 3 games, you tend to see, even if you've got someone who could invade very well, the first game, it's a lot of just seeing what your opponents are capable of. Yeah. So as you can see here, we're going into that very standard Great Wall stack. They're just looking to guard every sort of opportunity. Big Surrey have gone forward with the wards in the river. Obviously, those are going to time out before anything big happens. So you can see that Big Surrey, if you look at the stack, there is a lot more defensive than Ginyu for Swag on the side of this. Yi just hanging around in the back of the jungle there looking to catch anyone if they do come through on the looping invade.
I don't think they will, though. Unfortunately, you can see
not
exactly.
In this first game, certainly.
Place a couple of defensive wards in the river, spotting out for a invade on that blue side, because you know Hecarim will start blue side because he wants to be able to. His mana cost on the first clear is huge because he's basically just spamming Q the whole time, and then he gets the his E, which I can't remember the name.
I wonder if Yi is actually gonna get himself blue with the help of Jace, and then sprint straight over to red on the side of Hecarim. Yi has the attack damage to take it out very quickly, and if he's quick enough about it, I mean, obviously we were speaking, he has a much quicker clear earlier than Hecarim does. He can actually take that and deny Hecarim a lot of time in the jungle.
Yeah, he can indeed.
It's something you might, on a Yi, certainly it's something you might be looking at. I mean, obviously, Hecarim has had a bit more help off with that first one. Has he? He has saved his smite.
Yeah, he did save his smite. So I reckon he's expecting that invade potentially here, as you see Young Base God go in. Keep in mind that Hecarim will now have the Spirit of the Dread available to him, so he will be able to heal up. Here in this bot lane, you're seeing yourself a little bit of trading going backwards and forwards, and yeah, Yi's gone straight into that red side invade. Hecarim might spot him if he doesn't go. If he goes straight for the red now, he will spot him. So potentially something going to get found out here.
He's stopped gone. The Raptors though, so he is going to lose that red. Yi gets out with a red in his pocket. Now, obviously, the fast answer for this would be for Hecarim to spot this and go straight to Yi's red. However, it looks like Yi's looking to make a name with Larkin in the jungle here.
He's gone straight onto Larkin. Larkin puts the poison down, takes a little bit of damage and takes a shot blast to the face. He goes half health in that first fight. And the first condemn is a really good one onto the wall, but the shield from Mr. Geek Beast Gamer is enough to keep the trade going relatively even as Joe Witt gets chunked in the mid lane.
My goodness, Joe Witt is no John Wick and does nothing to get out the way of that laser as it scores straight through him. Yi played that jungle control really nicely. He goes up to the red buff. He takes the red buff. I know we didn't see it, but he actually countered the buff by leaving the little minions alive.
You can't because there's no little minions anymore. You haven't jungled on this patch, have you?
You are completely
There's no little minions, so no, he did. Yeah. He did like. It's a full clear, so there is no countering on that. Joe Witt getting completely pushed out here. I'm going to swap these around so I can see.
So obviously in this bot lane, it is going to be a very poke heavy lane. That's something I definitely do know. Mr. Beast Gamer is looking forward to just put a field of denial out, especially onto the Bane. CC going off is even at the minute, so he does need to really poke hard.
It looks like we might actually have something go there. There's a good condemn, keeps him away. Mr. Beast Gamer running very low, but so is Ellipsis. Plaztech is actually very close to getting his next jungle item, and we might actually get our first gank of the game. Joe Witt gets pinned up, Spirit of the Dread's there. He runs extremely low, 73 health. Flashes away to safety. That was almost first blood there.
Flash is away, and this is going to be interesting to see what he does. He is just going to take off
the He did have barrier as well.
He did have the barrier available to him, very smartly saved it. I was going to say that in the in the event he had stayed around, that would have been a really nice easy gank for Hiprain. Both junglers in that pot river there, around that mountain, Jake, a really key objective. Looks like Hiprain managed to get that scuttle for himself.
Well, Smig was very low on mana, and there was
Yeah.
a red buff on the Yi, so he didn't really want to take that fight. They've pinged him, so they know where he is, because they spotted him on that ward, so they know he's going to go for his Raptors. They need to keep their eyes out in that mid lane. It looks like Victor is now at the point. Yeah, Victor can now back and get his upgraded Hex Core, which he's going to do. Perfect back. Get himself maybe
really
a couple of
good start.
Get himself a control ward. Get himself that upgrade Hex Core. So he actually did get that optimal back on Victor, which is really important. There you go. Control ward. Couple of Doran's rings. He didn't upgrade actually. He bought boots and double Doran's, which is a bit of a weird one.
Okay, yeah,
Questionable back there actually.
But hey, let's see how it pays off. He has been playing really hard into the Morgana coming out from Joe Witt. So some really confident, strong ganks in the early game. We've not seen any first blood yet. That all important first blood. Flash has been burnt on Joe Witt, still down, but it looks like we're just falling back into that. Laners are just going to poke and try and establish dominance, and the junglers are going to look to fall back into their jungle and farm. Hiprain, Smig does have that skirmisher's saber before the young base god does on that Yi, so he has gone a little bit further forward there.
Ellipsis is going to find Mr. Beast Gamer. Just a little bit of poking out here, but Noodle Boy, all alone, he does get unleashed on. Here comes Smiggy. Smiggy going to go forward. Ellipsis flashes out. Doesn't take too much as Joe Witt spell shields the damage. Goes wide with the binding.
Double
a little bit of a chunk.
in
Held
the
that
bot lane.
auto attack there. Yeah, but very good bank. Break us down that team fight. Oh,
Breaks
not
down
team fight. That gang. That was the
gang,
3v2. Team fight, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
that's,
itching for action.
Yeah, I know you are. So, Smig hanging around in the bot lane there. Might not get a chance to talk about Larkin. Getting so much damage off and does not do anything in return to something R.
This is the point about Cassiopeia, though. Cassiopeia is you trade on her, she then trades on the back end of you leaving that fight because her overall damage is Joe Witt just gets dropped. What a fight! Well, what a gank just came out of nowhere. It wasn't even a fight; he just melted.
You say fight, I say absolute slaughter coming in so quickly as we would start with the top lane. Young base god coming up, just
looking, back.
I think he's just looking to get away. He can hear the hooves of the dread hooves coming into the Smig, and he just looks to get out of there. Came in so quickly. Plastech putting down that chaos storm as Smig jumped in. A little bit of a kill secure coming out.
Yeah, that was
Joe
a
Witt.
bit of a kill steal. Plastic used his ultimate as well.
Yeah, Joe Witt didn't even get the barrier off. That was so quick. One of the big problems there, no wards on either of the wings. Joe Witt having a really hard time keeping up with Plastech here.
Plastech actually had the control ward, and he's now going to sit on 2,000 gold, so he doesn't have to go back and get that upgraded.
If he chooses to.
If he chooses to. Something. This is a very questionable top. Well, I say questionable. This is a very interesting top lane. Sorry, the Cassiopeia is up in CS because that's not entirely unexpected. Cassiopeia is incredibly good at clearing minions. That Twin Fang is just like, if you're bad at auto attacking, Twin Fang is so good for clearing waves, and especially at this point where you can use it because you want to stack that tier as well. So actually, this is the time when you want to be spending it. Noodle Boy, not too far off his ultimate, so we could expect some action here in the bot lane. You've got Smiggy in the hanging around, although he's potentially looking to go into that.
Yeah, Vaynes really like to sort of really pop off as soon as they get their ult. They like to try and do it before you realise what they're doing. One of the problems, there's something else having top hit. What we always see Jace do against quote-unquote normal top lane picks is he just outranges them with everything. So he's able to just deny them as soon as they come in for CS. Every time he comes forward to try and deny Cassiopeia, she's able to put down her own field of denial. So they kind of cancel each other out, which is why you're seeing that very standard Cassiopeia small snowball on the farm there. Because she's just able, every time he steps forward to try and push her away, she's able to push him away back.
We've got red buff steals going around on both sides here. Joe Witt's shoved a control ward down to try and spot out where Hiprain is. Oh no, he's clearing the control ward. Actually, that's really cool because for those of you who haven't completely up to date on the patch, I'm sure most of you are here. The control wards now deny vision, so they don't just reveal wards; they actually deny vision on that ward. So it's a bit like a sweeper, really, in that sense. Smiggy puts down his own control ward and takes out another ward.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like almost a buffed pink ward. I don't really understand why they changed names and they didn't just call them pink wards, but
hey,
whatever.
Why not?
They're vision wards.
Paparito knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, really nice.
Look at this.
Oh,
We're going to have
forward.
ourselves a fight. The ultimate goes a little bit wide. Miasma was not used by Larkin, but he did throw down the ultimate. Here comes Young Beast God. Young Beast God with the Alpha Strike. Does get the flash out of Larkin. Larkin running low. Young Beast God is so low, but he gets himself out. That was a return kill here in the top lane.
Really tight. Saw Larkin go forward to get the attack on something are there. Looks like we're going to get a counter gank in the top lane here.
We are. The onslaught of shadows comes forward as this dread is coming in. So it looks like we're going to get ourselves just a trade of summoners in that top lane. Did burn summoning our splash.
Quite have the speed to catch him just yet, especially with Young Base God hanging around in the area as well. He's got that. He's actually picked up the Stalker's blade on Young Base God, so he's looking to get some chases in. Rob Nose pushes away really nicely, saving that condemn for when Beast Gamer comes in to stop that stun going off. Noodle Boy hasn't done a huge amount this game, but you'll see that with the Karma. All Mr. Beast Gamer is doing is he's hanging forward and just stopping Ellipsis and Rob Nose coming forward too far to farm or deny Noodle Boy from farming. That's why you're seeing the 10 CS differential on the bot lane, because Noodle Boy might as well have a free lane at this point with just that iron wall that Karma's putting up against them.
So we had an upgrade on the Hex Core finally. Which is a bit, he did kind of hold on to that for a long time. This is the thing when the poison lands on Cassiopeia and they just start chunking you out. Joe Witt loses so much health. The Dark Binding hits a minion as well, so the trade does not go in the favor of Joe Witt there.
Something that we've not seen this mid lane on the side of Ginyu for Swag.
Oh, he's going to go forward! The flash, the Chaos Storm forces the barrier out of Joe Witt. He is running solo. One more tick, and Joe Witt outwits his opponent.
Yeah, he does manage to run
for,
around. Help me!
for approval.
Yeah.
Notice me, freak. Try hard.
It was good. It was good. Joe Witt gets out. He just manages to loop himself around that tower. Yeah, it's so much denial coming in there. Joe Witt loops himself around the tower to get out. What I was going to say is one thing we've not seen mid lane on the side of Ginyu for Swag. Where's the gank? Yi has not come into Victor at all, and you know, you're on the same team. Young Base God knows that Joe Witt is having a terrible, terrible time in that mid lane. To his credit, Joe Witt's been keeping up his CS as much as he can. However, he's just getting punched down every time he tries to do anything. There has been no answer on the side of Ginyu for Swag for the ganks that Smig has put down on that mid lane.
Well, let's take a little look at the vision here, because it's all going down around this dragon. There's only one ward in that top side, 2 wards for Pari, but there's only 1 red side ward. Looks like Smiggy's going to find Young Base God. Look at the damage coming down. He might actually get this. He's going to use it. That is it, and the Skirmisher Saber does beat it.
Yeah, the
Smiggy gets a kill. His Plaztech takes on Joe Witt. The gravity field was questionable at best there, as the Petrifying Graze is just turned away from Something R.
That's the second time he's timed that well, actually, when Something R has turned his back on it.
Just looks away. I don't want anything to do with that.
He's like, it's definitely a 3 rather than a 10.
Your breath smells.
Yeah.
Looks like Red Side are going to
Drake.
get them. Yeah, so we're going to get ourselves, they're going to get themselves the Mountain Drake potentially, although they're peeling off it, although there's no one around. They're pulling it out. Okay, I was about to say, that's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, really, they do finally get it. So, next dragon is going to be the Wind Drake. Not going to be such a high, source after Drake. The Mountain Drake obviously is fantastic. It's actually my favourite one. I love
Larkin gets
that
a steal on the
objective
blue
pusher.
buff though.
Yeah,
that was good.
Does.
That was very good actually.
We're getting buffs stolen all over the place here. That Wind Drake, I mean, both junglers are going to...
Oh, Smiggy run! Don't clear the ward! Yes! Save your jungler! Damn it, Plaztech.
That wind Drake, both junglers are going to quite enjoy it because it's that speed.
That was the Earth
out of
Drake they took.
movement. Yeah, that one was.
Oh, the next one. Sorry,
is the Wind Drake.
I was too like thrown off by that mid lane pass over on the blue buff.
Yeah. There's a lot of steel coming in. Larkin, smart move going for the blue buff there, is just going to keep him in lane so much better. Going down into the river, looking to put out a bit of vision. we've not really seen anything too explosive. It's been a very normal.
We might have a
first
duel here in the
game,
top
though.
lane. The Twin Fangs, the poison's there. Something else more does get popped, but here comes Young Boy God. And it looks like Larkin's just going to have to try and get what he can, but it is too little. It is too late.
Blue buff
He
passed
gets
over as well.
electrified, and the blue buff does get passed over. Crystal Arrow, too late.
Exceedingly far forward.
This could
And
be
now
first
they're gonna
tower of
push
the game,
against Tower
though.
Bet. Oh my god, he's from
No,
behind again.
Smiggy, he's Pop Ghost, he has Devastating Charge, he does have Onslaught of Shadows, but Joe Witt is here. That's going to be the Alpha Strike forward onto Smiggy. Smiggy needs to get himself out. Plastek's here for the backup, has the laser. Next onto Joe Witt, but not onto Something R, who's just kiting and baiting so efficiently here.
Yeah, Something R has been dancing consistently just on the outreach.
Oh, that's the ultimate thrown down on Plastek. Plastek's going to have to throw the gravity field.
Under the
Throws
tower.
down the ultimate. He gets a 1v3. He might get Something R as well. That doesn't look like the tower's going to go down. Spirited Dread was used a little bit early from Smiggy. Does not have access to his ultimate, unfortunately. Devastating Charge is there, but he will die to the 1v2 if he takes it.
See, this is where that Chilling Smite is going to come into its element. When that Young Base God is standing with someone next to him, he's going to be able to deny that retreat. Noodleboy putting on a load of damage onto that tower.
Well, that's
and
the outranging.
Rob knows-
Smiggy has thrown down the smite. He's got the damage. Can he get it? No, he gets popped out. One auto attack away, and it looks like Noodleboy and Mr. Beast Gamer are going to get themselves the first tower of the game with their next wave. A little bit ahead of themselves.
almost. I mean, Rob Nose and Ellipsis are having a real problem keeping them off their Monsoon Burst to keep them in lane. They cannot afford
like
to
that,
back for
actually.
the health. Yeah, because they cannot afford to back for the health at this point because they need to be there to try and crush this wave down. Rob Nose just can't get near it though because the denial that Beast Gamer is putting up, and Red Team do take the first tower of the game. A little bit of pocket
Huge.
money.
The ultimate goes
too
wide.
Soon.
Larkin.
Too soon. Larkin having such trouble.
That was
up in
almost
this
a good
top
play.
lane.
That was
would have been
so
a
close to
fantastic
being
play.
player of the game. If player of the game was a thing in this game.
Play of the game.
I'm so
I pressed
used to-
R. Actually, that is a bit like Overwatch, to be fair.
I was Mercy and I rezzed a team.
Joe Witt in this mid lane, desperately trying to pull himself up. Got the assist to his name now. And actually, to his credit, despite the really hard denial that Plastek's been putting down, has been holding up his CS really, really nicely. We're starting to see those items come out across the board.
Hecarim has found Young Boy God. He Devastating Charges forward. That's the ultimate thrown down. The Devastating Charge is there. Sorry, that was the Onslaught of Shadows. Secures himself. Kill number 3.
If Young Base God and Smig meet in the jungle. Now, I was saying early game that Yi had the kit to take him as long as he had the Skirmisher Smite. He doesn't. Hecarim is the one who currently had Challenger Smite, sorry.
Yes.
The
I know what you
Challenger
meant.
Smite, yeah, giving him that true damage, that is what you want. If you want to go
Skirmishers.
dueling, that's what you take, but the Challenging Smite. It's the Skirmisher
Okay.
Saber with the Challenging
Oh,
Smite.
okay, cool. Yeah, all right.
So
I was
the-
trying to be a know-it-all there.
How did that work out for you? Anyway, moving on. The Challenging Smite is a dueling tool. That's what it's there for. If you want to search for your enemy jungler, if you want to be wandering around like that, that's what you take.
I really like this. They switched their bot lane to top lane. They switched the lanes. So now they've won bot lane really confidently, in all fairness. They didn't get any kills, but look at the CS. They're 20 CS up on the Eddie carry. That's an Essence Reaver into an Ecstatic Shiv. First tower goes down. It looks like we might have ourselves people picking
Big
each other out and
goon
finding each
squad
other
on the bot
out.
there.
Smiggy is going to get knocked up. No, he isn't. That was a good petrifying gaze. And Rob Nose is running very low. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow is there. The Miasma's there. Larkin gets a kill. It looks like Young Base God is his next target. Shield on the tower. Maybe not the right person, but this looks like top side tower is getting massively pressured by the Ashe Karma. It's such a horrible poke lane to play into.
So much denial.
This is going to be
Put
another
down.
charge forward. It does pop it. The Monsoon is absolutely perfect. Elixis. Not perfect enough, though. Joe Witt is now going to go against Plastek. I don't think Plastek's going to all in and he's just going to look to the rest of the lane. Although, whoa, the damage.
So much damage coming out there. This is a real stranglehold that Surrey is putting down on the side of
Ginyu Force.
Ginyu Force.
You're struggling there,
Whoa,
weren't you?
little bit of a flag there, yeah. There are a red team and a blue team, but this huge stranglehold on the top lane and the bot lane, rotating their ADC like that. It means that Larkin was having a real problem dealing with Something R. Instead of forcing him to stay in that
Young
top
Base
lane,
God.
oh, hello!
He takes the plant over and it looks like he's going to get Larkin. Larkin is crit to death.
Yeah, the problem is he's just larking around in the jungle too much. Was not expecting the hop over First time I've seen that hop used in such a great way. Didn't chase him around the corner where he would have had to waste time. Instead, hops over to get right up in his face. He knows he's got the ult down because he's just used it in the bot lane. He's just seen him get the kill off the back of it.
Yeah.
Really, really smart play coming out from Young Base God. And
Someone
that's
else
the
can
kind
take
of
the
thing I
tower,
wanted
though.
to see play. Yes,
He's going to walk away because he doesn't really know where anyone is. They're at the dragon and he's not aware of that, so he's going to actually peel away. That's something we haven't talked about as well. They've taken themselves 2 dragons. That Earth Dragon is why they've managed to kill themselves 3 towers to 0 at this point. Big Surrey, 32,000 gold to 27,000 gold. The lead is firmly in their hand, and they're now switching the AD carries into the mid lane because this is now where they want to be pressuring. Get that tower down and open the map up for themselves.
Yeah, see, when you've got an Ashe on the team, she tends to play in 2 ways. You've either got her as she just takes names and she just puts that real like sluggish creep on people to slow them down so she can get kills, or she's just a roaming tower taker. You stick her in a lane with the Runan's Hurricane, which she's not got just yet, but once she gets it, you stick her in a lane with the Runan's Hurricane and the enhanced Q, she will just mow entire waves down. And with someone like
towers.
and towers, yeah, with someone like a Karma with her.
No, Mr. Beast Gamer is going to get found. He throws down the tether, but it might be too little. It might be too late.
Oh!
No, the ultimate is there from Noodle Boy. Noodle Boy is going to chase on, and it looks like they're not going to get anything else out here as Plaztech has found Joe Witt here in the mid lane. There's the Inclance also. The siphoning strike is there. The ultimate does get thrown down as Plaztech is forced to ghost, forced to run. Here comes the onslaught of shadows onto Rob's nose, and Rob knows that he is not long for the world as he gets miasmed in place. The ultimate is there. The twin fangs are there. Larkin gets a double kill.
Eclipse has been brought down onto Ellipsis there, just sealing his fate as he came in to try and save his best buddy in the whole world.
They
And
go
he's
for
shut
Baron.
down. They could do an early Baron here. Young Base God does not know they're doing it. There is so little warding on the side of Ginyu.
This is Cassiopeia's Twin Fangs and the Ashe. They are so effective at taking it down. Remember, they have that Mountain Drake to their name.
Shield as well.
And they get
keeps
it
them alive.
uninterrupted.
Such an early... That, a 20 minutes and 45 second Baron. Are we casting Fnatic here? That's such an early Baron.
Well, last season Fnatic.
Last season, forget it. No,
New
tell me
season
about this
Fnatic
season.
was awful.
I cover up the logo on my Fnatic hoodie sometimes when I'm talking about it.
No,
Really,
SKT fan.
Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah. No. What? Really, really quick Baron take. There. Really, really nice. So you're right. They knew they had the
Yes.
damage because they had the Ashe and they had the enhanced Qs from Larkin as well.
That's confirmed something for me. Young Base God now actually cannot clear the entire Raptor Clank with it. Clank?
The Ratchet and Clank squad.
I've
with
lost
his,
my words. The camp.
Yeah.
He can't clear it with his Alpha Strike because it doesn't hit all of them.
Hiprain confirmed. Master Yi terrible jungle.
Terrible
Full
internet
swags out,
connection.
like, yeah.
Terrible caster overall. Let's talk a little bit about the builds because we haven't looked too much at it. That's the Triforce, and I think that's the Cinder Hulk. Yes, the Cinder Hulk on the side of Smiggy.
That'll be his tank that you were talking about. That'll be.
Well,
the
he's going to go full tank.
he'll
Now
go
he's got the
for.
Triforce. He's going to go full tank. Probably a Dead Man's Plate will be his next item, so he gets a little bit of extra damage on a tank item. Good. Shock Blast. Just take a bit of Noodle Boy's health. Noodle Boy doesn't actually have anything but his Doran's Blade for lifesteal. As Larkin, he's going to get pinned in place, but there's the ultimate, the Petrifying Gaze, and the Crystal Arrow. Secure themselves a kill onto Joe Witt. Joe Witt is 0-3 this game.
You know what we were talking about in the early game where I said that team fight is going to be so strong just because of the amount of focus they can put down on the front line. That was what I was talking about there.
Oh, there's the
Onslaught!
ultimate. Onslaught comes through from Smiggy, but it does not hit anything.
Woo, that was a bit
Just
scary.
forcing him
That
off
one.
the wave there.
Yeah, pushes him out. Gonna find
Ghost,
Smiggy.
he's found Young Boy. Young Boy has to flash the wall because he knows that Smiggy can't chase onto him. He's going for him. He charges forward. There's the Q coming down from Young Boy, and it looks like they're going to try and get as much as they can. Vayne is tethered in place by the Karma, and now it looks like something off is going to try and take on Smiggy, but the shields are there. The Ashe is there. He gets dropped. Ellipsis is next to go, but he flashes over the wall. Gets himself out to safety there.
Tries to bait Smig to follow him around in that bush. Throws down the Chilling Smite to slow him down so he can get away. But unfortunately, Smig is just fast enough with those boots of swiftness. He's able to pull away from it, leading to the entire Big Surrey just collapsing around. And they're now pushing further and further in. Their lane management has been so good this game. We talked about it a little bit earlier when they were swapping their ACDCs. They were swapping their rock stars around. And
Well,
they were
these
just
guys
pushing
might as well
forward.
be rock stars. They're going off. Looks like this is going to be the last non-base tower to get dropped on the side of Big Surrey, and they've only lost one tower in the time doing it. They've only dropped 4 kills. Young Boy's going to get himself pinned in place by the gravity field.
Tried to come through it with the spell shield on his back.
They're using the last of this
Slowed
Baron.
him
They
up.
have a couple of seconds left. They're going to try and take the tower with it, and they successfully do it. Peel off, really well played from the side of Big Surrey.
Look at this. Our young boy base god cannot find the
he
people.
just charges onto
Blimey,
the ward.
What on earth was that?
He charged onto the ward with a devastating charge.
I see. Yeah. So one of the problems that Ginyu Force Swag has really faced in this game is their hyper carries, stuff like the Vayne and the Yi and the Jace, just haven't had that explosive start that we're used to seeing them do. There was so much poke back and slows on the bot lane. And of course there was the threat of Smig. Smig's been ganking really, really nice. We've not really spoken about it a huge amount, but his gank's been really quick, and because of that, he's a constant fear in the back of the mind of Ginyu Force.
Oh, Mr. Beast Gamer. The tether is there. It does pin him in place. Smiggy thought the tether was not going to go down. The Crystal Arrow is also used. A bit of a waste there.
Yeah, a little
Plastic
bit
did pick
interesting.
himself up the blue buff, and the Earth Drake
Another
is the next
Mountain
one.
Drake,
So they're going to keep their eye on that.
And they're going to
I
get
say
it.
Earth Drake. That's my inner Avatar
Avatar.
fan. Yeah.
And then the Inferno Drake attacked.
The Inferno Drake.
When it finally shows up.
Inferno, he sounds like a like a disco guy.
Yeah, Inferno Drake in the house. Smig in the house looking to push forward through this bush. And
The tether's there.
hitting it.
There's the devastating charge onto 2. Something is going to get himself dropped, and he is something dead.
Pushed back and forward beneath that damage that Victor can throw up. And now you're seeing Ginyu Force Swag are really struggling
You
to hold
keep
this
forgetting
lane.
the name.
The team names are crazy, man. I only learnt them 20 seconds ago.
A few of them came from a fun fact for those of you. A few of the team names actually came from. I told the teams, but if they didn't
Oh
come up
god,
with,
you did.
if they didn't come up with team names and let me know them, I will just band name generate them again. So that's where Insane Counter got their name. That's where Sweet Rhyhorn got their name, and Sweet Rhyhorn went through. So,
Sweet Rhyhorn, yeah, they're sponsored by that band name generator. It's a really sweet deal.
My band needs a name.
Yeah.
We're gonna get ourselves a pause here. I think that's just because someone's feeding. So.
Yeah. Let's sort it out in here. So, I mean, Ginyu Force Swag having a real problem.
Jungle is getting ganked by his flatmates. I don't know if it's a pause-worthy thing, but we'll let it slide.
Well, let's see. We'll let it slide.
Provided it
yeah.
doesn't go over half an hour.
Yeah, exactly. I know that Ginyu Force Swag did threaten us and say they would use the entire pause if we didn't keep calling them Ginyu Force Swag and not making sure we didn't drop the swag off. But boys will be boys, I suppose.
Is that what this is about?
The problem they're having. You know, we were talking about how the hyper carries really didn't get a chance to go off. Morgana has had a really, really hard time in that mid lane. I mean, you know, I say every time I say, well, you know, to be fair, the CS is there, but the problem is they're not tight enough to make these picks. They had that really struggling early game. Young Base God had a very, very good gank presence for his first 2 ganks, and then that was about it. He really just sort of dropped off the map, and I kind of, there were times where I sort of struggled to see what he was doing. Whereas on the other side, when you look at what Smig was doing, Smig was just a constant presence. Now Smig wasn't always getting kills and wasn't necessarily always bursting flashes, but Smig was just a constant presence. What that meant is every time Ginyu Force Swag tried to make a push forward, they tried to rally up as a team, they tried to go for an objective, there was always that thought in the back of their mind of, hold on, we can't see Smig. He could be absolutely anywhere. And when they had these massive open lanes that they could have pushed on, they didn't do it because they didn't have the vision.
Yeah.
Because every time they went into the jungle, Smig would clear them out and Smig would put his wards in. And it means that I don't want to single-handedly give this to Smig, but he's done so much of a mental game against Ginyu Force Swag.
So while Smiggy has been such a good, like, I can't even pronounce his name, hence why we're calling him Smiggy. Smiggy Lowiski?
Smiggy Lewinsky.
Smiggy Lewinsky.
Smig. That was it.
His name's
Hiprain.
Smiggy. Ponyman.
Yeah.
He's been doing such a good job of backing up the team's overall play.
Yes.
The team's overall play has been bot lane 1 because they took a Vayne and a Janna, so the poke and the lane was not there early. That allowed Noodle Boy and Mr. Beast Gamer to completely roll over their lane. It might not look like it, guys, just because they didn't get that many kills. I mean, Ash is 2-0, and that's actually come from the team fights. But that's not why they won themselves that lane. They won that lane through the fact that they just got the push, they got the kills, and this is what I mean. So they got the push, they got the kills, and they knew that Smiggy was playing so well on the map and so aware of what was going on. They always seemed to know where Young Base God was going to be, so that allowed them to push in. And then Smiggy was there if something did go right, and he was able to back them up. And then they used that advantage, that pressure that Smiggy was there, and that just lane dominance that Noodleboy and Mr. Beast Gamer had to take themselves that bot lane tower, and then they basically went, cool, we've done that. Send Cassiopeia bot. Cassiopeia's absolutely storming ahead at this point. Cassiopeia goes and they send the top lane, the bot lane top, and they just do the same thing and they roll around the map. So actually, Big Surrey, while it looks flashy, but they're getting lots of kills, their team's playing incredibly well in the team fights, actually, this is all a complete directive of the team, of like the smart map play and the macro play. We're about to get back into the game. You want to make your point?
Yeah, absolutely. It's this real like overarching meta play we're seeing here coming in, and it's enabling to have these big crushing sieges.
Oh,
Crystal Arrow does find just through the middle, but that's not the only CC they have on the team. They do still have a lot to offer, so it's not a huge deal that Crystal Arrow messed. They are still going to find themselves with the inhibitor of it, taking the smart move and backing out. One of the nice things that I didn't mention earlier that Smig's been doing as well is every time
that was really
fantastic. weird. Yeah, every time Smig has ganked, whether he's got something, whether he's not, Ginyu for swag seems to have gone, okay, right, that's a gank. Don't ever talk about that again. Whereas every time Young Base God has ganked, Smig is always right there behind them, always comes in for a counter gank.
This is also part of the problem with Master Yi, is he's damage. That's all he is. He's a stick on you and do damage character. He does a crazy amount of damage, everyone knows that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a good character, especially in the jungle, in the sense that Master Yi, he has the ability to put out a lot of damage, but into a comp that has this much CC, has the Ash Arrow, has Victor Gravity Fields, has the devastating charge to knock him back, has the Onslaught of Shadows to fear him, has the shields, has the speed ups. He just becomes a completely redundant character, because once his Alpha Strike's burnt, his ability to stick on top of people just completely drops off.
Preparing for a second Baron here, and again, look at the warding on the map. There's just nothing in these key positions.
They placed two, so they did a slightly better job of keeping
around
it
that Baron pit they have, but
they've actually all on that side of the jungle. They can see everything that's going on there. So actually, overall, it's not the end of the world. But Larkin says we don't need Baron at this point. We are 53,000 gold. They have such a massive advantage. I'm not going to do maths because I've been working at a Saturday in retail all day. So
and you can't do maths.
And
anyway,
I can't do maths.
So, yeah, there's that.
What did you get in maths? Sorry. How many times did you do
moving on. This team fight coming in the mid lane is not yet at the minute, but desperately trying to scrape away at those minions. 2 inhibitors down. Minions pouring into those super minions at that. Wards being taken out on the retreat. Baron is open for them once again. Baron Nashor is live on the Rift. Not for much longer though. If Big Surrey have their way as they
even if
go
they run low, they've got the honey fruit as well. I think it's up on the map. No, there isn't. It must be on the other side. Yeah, it's on the other side. The honey fruit.
Yeah.
So they can get their health back. I love that honey fruit. It makes some junglers, like less legitimate junglers, have like an element of clear to them, so they can heal up. So because what you find on some like non-meta junglers is they kind of come in, they kill 2 clans.
Clear still, it's still like a really like low clear if you get caught out in the jungle.
This is going to be inhibitor number 3. If Big Surrey take this is triple lanes of super minions. That's the ultimate. It looks like the Onslaught of Shadows is there. Ellipsis was pinned with the Crystal Arrow. The Monsoon is thrown out. Something R gets locked down and he gets dropped. Young Beast God is next to go. That is 2 for 1. That's the triple kill onto the Victor. Victor's going forward. He wants the Quadra. Victor with the Quadra kill. What an outplay. What a play. Big Surrey take onto the Nexus. They're going to take down Ginyu Force Squad as they flash their masteries, use their flash summoner spells, drop the Nexus, and that is game 1 in the best of 3 in Big Surrey's hands.
An incredible, just constant push throughout the entire game. 17 kills on the side of Big Surrey throughout that 30-minute game. So it was there was 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 kills in the entire game, which... So, you know, it wasn't a particular killy game, but as we were saying, with that overarching meta play, we're having a look at the damage now. I know you love to talk about this, so go for it, man.
So let's just to put this into perspective, the Karma did more damage than the Vayne, but
considerably
also did more damage than the Vayne and the Janna put together. So the support on the side of Big Surrey was doing more damage than the duo lane together. That's the problem with Vayne, is if she falls behind and she doesn't get that snowball, she just falls off. And into a character like Ashe, into a Karma who can just poke and push in, it's just it's completely out of control. Ashe didn't even do all that much damage to champions when you really look at it. But
didn't really go for the champions, to be honest.
It was all about the damage she was doing to the turrets. I mean, Ash was involved in 2 turret kills, actually, so not all that many.
But it was the wave clear up to the turrets. They were those key first turrets that she went to. I mean, choosing sort of a most valuable player of Big Surrey's matchup there, I would be tempted to go for Noodle Boy and Mr. Beast Gamer just for that lane dominance. They're sustained in 2 lanes. However, Smig, not only did he show up in fights well in damage, not only did he show up in fights well for killing, he also just had this overarching just meta game he really engaged. He was a real force to be reckoned with and a very fearsome presence in that jungle. Every time Ginyu Force Swag tried to step forward, they were constantly checking their backs for
And with
Smig.
that, Big Surrey do take on Ginyu Force. Take game 1. There's still 2 more games to go, potentially.
Absolutely.
So it's not all over for Ginyu Force. We're going to hop ourselves to a quick break as we get set up into the next lobby and get ourselves ready for the next game. Don't go anywhere. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to... I made you jump there, didn't I?
Yeah, a little bit.
Welcome back to Surrey Esports League of Legends Tournament Group Stage Day 2. We're into our best of 3 where Big Surrey are 1 win up on Ginyu Force Swag.
Yeah.
Ginyu Force Swag.
They're on the match point.
They've switched sides this time. Teammates are getting themselves ready. We're getting ready to go into picks and bans. I'm Hiprain. Joining me today is Foxhound. How you feeling, Foxhound, about that last game?
That was a good game. It was a really good game.
Bit of a stomp, but yeah.
It was a real stomp, but it was really nice to see just that really tight cross-map play. So very often in these kind of matches, you sort of see, the team played terribly, but mid lane carried. Whereas for Big Surrey, it was just such good coordination across their whole team. If they keep that kind of communication and coordination up, they could go for the complete stomp here.
They could indeed, and I don't think it's far reached. Keep in mind, these teams aren't they're not professional teams. These are just guys. Hiprain ban is straight out the Alistair bans there as well. These are smaller teams where they're not so used to kind of these best of situations. They play this game for fun. They're not professionals by any means. Not saying they're bad players, but
cover yourself there.
I'm not saying they're bad players by any means, but at the same time, it's easy. It's a complete. It's not a word you us casters like to say, but you can get tilted. It's a thing that happens.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah,
you might not be tilted, but it can get into your mind. It can throw you off. So you go into game 2 and you're like, oh, we're down. We got stomped last game, and you just kind of fall over. When obviously, what separates a professional player from a high-ranking non-professional player is their ability to bounce back. So we're going to have to see whether or not Ginyu Force can bounce themselves back off this. They are a pre-made team, so they are actually a set team.
Yeah.
They practice together. They're not a bunch of randoms thrown together. So we're going to have to see how they show up here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're so right about tilting. When you've lost a game, it's really important to just sort of take a breath, take a step back and say, right, okay, today is a new day. This is a new game. On the flip side of that, it is also very important if you've won to do the same thing. I see so many winning teams. You see it all the time. Someone has a good early game. They have a good first game. Next game, they go, oh, you know what? I'm just going to go my really fun champ and I'm going to dive towers all day. That's how you get sort of reverse tilted from that. So it is very important for both teams just to take a breath and
but you don't want to mess around is the thing.
Exactly.
So you don't want to do that. Larkin actually gets himself the Cassiopeia here. I did want to touch on the Master Yi ban. So while they kind of completely crushed it last game, they don't want to do it again. Young Base God did do really, really well.
He was very comfortable on that.
I say really well. He did a really good start on that with a jungle clear, and we were speaking to Young Base God in the pre-lounge before we started this game, and he did say that it did throw him. It did tilt him a little bit, going over to his red buff and be like, oh, it's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna see what they're gonna pick up. 25 seconds left on the clock. The Cassiopeia has been picked up for Larkin.
I mean,
whether or not that's gonna be a flex mid laner / top laner, because the Jace has not been taken. So.
I mean,
we could see Larkin give that to the mid lane, and then he plays something, because I think that might have been the initial plan.
Yeah.
And then they were like, actually, it's a Jace.
It's your favorite.
Young Base God picks himself Peter Crouch.
Yeah.
God damn it, I hate that champion.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's
Tracer.
That's a really good
She's
shout.
British
I
with
love
a gun.
that. Yeah, yeah, that'll
Tracer.
do. That'll do.
Cheers,
Ivan picked up. Ivan.
I actually forgot his name.
Yeah,
I was just calling Peter Crouch because he's a big lanky.
Yeah, Ivan is a champion. I think both of us never really rated very high, and then we were over with the Compete League lot, and Xcan picked up Ivan.
And the meme.
He went off on it, man.
Yeah,
he went really, really hard.
I actually played in a game with him, and he played Ivern, and he carried me so hard. It was unreal. And I don't think I've ever been carried by an Ivern. I've only ever lost games because of them. So we're going to see if Young Base God can do it. If he wants to invade again, this is a character who's pretty good at that.
Yeah.
So
really
actually,
good.
a really good steal potential here. Smiggy is going to potentially pick up Mr. Beast Gamer's Karma again. Maybe the Ash again because they want that range. Although Plaztech and Noodleboy. Looks like Noodleboy's going to say, Rob, mate, let me show you how to play Vayne. Let's see if it's going to go down. This is a really bad matchup, though. Caitlyn completely outranges Rob Nose. He's going to get at least 2 auto attacks and potentially a 50 cal net to the face before he can even get in range, which comes into a headshot. So the actual potential for Plaztech to really go on him is going to be really hard. He's going to have to jump on him, really.
In that early game where it's very easy to win a game and go, ha ha, that was such a stomp, let's get back in there. But yeah, even like I'm not a huge fan of Vayne with a Karma support.
Oh wow! Don't tell me that's a
Um,
Blitzcrank.
You love Blitzcrank. You love it. It's great. It
He's
is a
locked it in.
Blitzcrank. Yeah.
Ellipsis. They want to put Noodle Boy behind as much as possible, unless that's Larkin on the Vayne top. I have seen a Vayne top recently,
Yes.
and it's really actually it was yesterday it got played.
Yeah.
It got played yesterday, so it's not like it's not going to happen. Because Joe Witt is going to be playing Wukong in that top lane there. So something R and Joe Witt did swap for this game, which is completely fine, and it is within the rules, guys. Yeah. So that's okay. Potentially a Zach. We saw Ultralix yesterday on the time as Team Toke. He went completely off on the Zach camping Ultima Cloud, and he went like 7-0 and got the top laner for his team, Kojira,
gooey guys, I love it.
Completely miles ahead on a Yorick. So potentially we're going to see that. Mr. Beast Gamer, please don't lock in that Teemo.
He's not going to do it.
You guys are so far ahead. Well, you're not far ahead. You got one game, but you don't want to throw it.
Out of three? Out of three, that's quite far ahead. He's on match point.
No, they take the Yasuo. I love casting Yasuos. This is a knock-up, set the Yasuo up comp. Now, I'm assuming that's going to be a Yasuo top. Larkin likes his carry top laners. So that's my point with the Vayne when they were talking about Flex Vayne. So maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob knows on the Blitzcrank. If the Vayne does get handed over to Noodle Boy, which obviously is what it looks like is going to happen here, one really dangerous thing that we could see happening is Rob knows focusing Mr. Beast Gamer's Karma, pulling him away from Noodle Boy. Noodle Boy is going to have to run so far to get into a range where she can help. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Blitzcrank target the Karma more than the Vayne.
We've had a Malzahar here in the mid lane, so we're going to see who. So it's going to be Plaztech taking that Yasuo mid. He's running the Exhaust in that lane, not the Ignite, so not going for that kill pressure. Although Yasuo, when he gets on top of you, he does have that kill pressure. Let's have a little talk about this Malzahar into Yasuo matchup. This matchup is something R should not be losing into Plaztech. Malzahar has that spell shield available to him. He can stop basically the initial damage that Plaztech can put out on him. Plaztech has to use his E on him to pop that spell shield. If he uses a Q, that's quite a big damage ability down. Obviously, auto attacks don't pop the Malzahar passive, but then Malzahar does a similar thing to Cassiopeia, where you go onto him, and then as you walk away, that's when you take the big chunk of your damage. Yeah. He puts the Malicious Visions down. He puts the Scuttly Crab things down. I can't remember what this ability's called. Voidlings, yeah. Why? Wow, okay. And he also has the Silence available to him as well. Yeah. And he has that.
I don't know what that one's called.
Silence Gate. I don't know. I think it's Void
Disco
Gate.
Heat Shift Nami thing going off there.
I think it's Void Gate. Let me have a look.
I mean, what is really nice with
Call of the Void.
Yes. What's really nice with Malzahar with his ult is if he sees Plaztech start to advance up that minion line, if he gets really scared for himself, he can pop that ult and just shut down completely any sort of movement. Yeah. The thing that Big Surrey are going to be looking for is when something R uses that ult, he is standing still. Yeah. Now, Zacs love a target who does not move and stand still.
And we've got the Elastic Slingshot, we've got the Bounce, we've got the Tornado from Yasuo. There is quite a lot of potential to go in for an ult. And I'm fairly certain a Vayne Condemn is a displacement which counts as a knock-up. I know that Darius Drags count, so I'm fairly certain Noodle Boy's knock-up could also potentially set Yasuo up. We'll have to see whether or not that's going to happen.
But, I mean, one of the big things about having a Zac on your team is the Let's Bounce hits so many people.
Yes, but if Ellipsis plays this right, let's talk a bit about how Blitzcrank can play this matchup and how he can actually work this out for his team. Smiggy goes in for a Let's Bounce. He gets grabbed away from Ellipsis, who's kiting. Every situation of a fight, Ellipsis actually needs to be away from his team, not on top of his team. So if Yasuo goes in for an ulti, he can get dragged out, he can get silenced, he can get knocked up. If Smiggy goes in for the Let's Bounce, for the Elastic Slingshot, he can get grabbed. Ellipsis' job in this comp is to stand on the side, not in the back, but on the side of the fight and peel people towards him. That's where Blitzcrank's going to excel. Yeah. So let's not talk down the Blitzcrank. Let's talk about what
I love Blitzcrank, man. I love him. Iron Giant coming out there, Superman grabbing people there to just get them out of the way. If he goes himself really tanky, he is going to be a really nice just flanking shield that's going to come out. You're right. There is so much he can do to just displace people. I mean, for example, say Zac hits the Let's Bounce knockup. If he manages to grab Yasuo, Yasuo obviously cannot ult while he's being pulled around, silenced, and smacked about
Yes.
like that. So yeah, he's actually going to lot to his team. I mean, let's not talk down the team fight potential of Ginyu for Swag as well. Daisy can set a lot of knockups up and display.
They've got lots of displacements, actually. They've got
It's
the
a-
ability to pin people down. They've got the traps, so Siege works in their favor. And they've got, obviously, the Wukong ultimate.
Yeah, the big thing that works in their favor is they have so many abilities to keep people away from Caitlyn. Caitlyn is going to hit that mid-game power dip once she picks up her BF sword. However, once she gets the Runaan's Hurricane, once she gets something like the Infinity Edge, the Phantom Dancer, once she gets some damage and some speed behind her, the whole comp is going to change to... thank goodness we don't know the password for this
we didn't
PC.
know the password for the
A
PC.
Screensaver shoots up. We have no idea what we're doing.
Wow.
Yes, the point I'm trying to make is they have so much to just keep people away from Caitlyn and actually, importantly, keep them in one place. If they can group people together, Caitlyn is just going to be slamming headshots in there so quick. Sorry, man. We're out of it. It's fine. We're loading in.
We're out of the
We've got
woods.
this.
We're loaded
Yeah.
in. Wow. That was terrifying.
So, yeah, Screensaver
What
pops
was the
up on
one
a
thing we
PC
were
that's
told?
not ours.
Move the mic the mouse every now and then, just in case the PC falls asleep.
Yeah, well,
If that was my PC, it would have fallen asleep.
would you
100%.
even be on if it was your internet, though? To be fair?
No, we would have
No.
been disconnecting
Yeah.
a lot. Although, for anyone who watched yesterday's and had the horror of my disconnecting, I'm sure it wasn't a horror for you. It was a horror for me.
Doctor loved it. He got your job.
Yeah, Doctor.
Yeah.
Doctor was an absolute baby. Came through there, but my internet actually came back as soon as the cast ended. I had completely strong internet. Yeah, screw you too, Nicola.
Oh yeah, no, I
Laughing
had
at me on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I had really bad lag during the game, but afterwards it was great. So, it's not my
I
fault.
literally felt like that guy. And no, we do not need the password. I'm not going to bother responding.
Bless,
to
he
Facebook.
looks out for us.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Right. So moving
If
in.
anyone who wants to know, his password is alligator69.
Fantastic.
I'm joking.
Who'd have thought
I
it?
am joking.
That's the same password on my computer as well.
Alligator spelt wrong.
Yeah. I'm really interested to
Is
see
this
how
turning
this
into a
really goes.
podcast?
Yeah.
And not a cast?
Well, let's bring it back a little bit there. I'm really interested to see how this goes. I mean, I would initially favour trying to ignore the complete kicking that they gave Ginyu for Swag in the last game. I would really like to say that Larkin's team has the big fights to them.
Well, we'll see if they do have the big fights as we load on. Big Surrey, 1 win up against Ginyu Force Swag. Let's see if they can take it down. I do favour Ginyu Force's comp actually into this. They seem to have a counter in pretty much every lane except that top lane. Joe Witt is going to struggle in that top lane, and he did struggle last game as well.
He did. I mean, yeah, I think if they can just get to the late game. I mean, the problem they had with the last game is they just lost so much early game. This is what I was talking about when I said in the first game, you're not going to see things like invades. In the second game, someone like an Ivern, you are going to see them. The ward should pick them out, and you can already see the sort of bowl formation coming out from the side of Big Surrey there. But yeah.
That's our Ginyu Force, sorry.
Yes, yeah. But the defensive bowl on the side of Big Surrey as they prepare
kind
for
of
the
prepared
invade.
lanes. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, don't worry.
Something else
We got
disconnected,
this.
so they're just going to reconnect him to the game here, and we'll take ourselves
Well,
a quick
yeah.
break. We haven't got too much to talk about just because of the
that movement though, that step
the
off
items and the gold.
yeah.
But yeah, you're seeing that with that Blitzcrank, they're going to go for that invade. They can see, well, they can't see where Larkin is, but Larkin is there. Smiggy, remember, he does have the he does have the ability with his passive. He has blob form, blobberlate. So
Cell division.
cell division, that is the name of it. I like to call it blobby form.
Yeah, I like it.
If he gets pulled into blobby form, then obviously there's a little bit of survivability. I don't think if that happens, if he gets pulled into it at level 1 and there's 5 of them there, I don't think he's going to live for long.
Not unless his team answers very, very quickly. I mean,
But they're spread out.
yeah, exactly.
And it's a
They are
Yasuo and
spread out
Cassiopeia.
at this moment. Reconnected on the side of something else will probably get you back in this game very quickly.
Yeah, I think Big Sorry are DDoSing at this point.
Yeah, probably just really looking for those hacks.
They won't win up, but they just want to get it out.
When does Sombra come out, right? That's this
We've
game.
loaded back in and depaused.
Amazing! And as you see, something else does a really good strategy there by just taking 2 steps forward before pausing the game once again. One of the problems that Ginyu for Swag had in the last game was they lost so much so early, and that's why even scaling to the late game was difficult to them, because they just had such a problem finding a foothold after they'd had their entire wall crumbled. What they really need to do now, especially with a Caitlyn on their team, is they just need to be really defensive. That's what I want to see. I want to see a heavy emphasis on farming. I want to see a heavy emphasis on dragon denial, because that was a big thing last game that we didn't really talk about either, is that Big Surrey just hit every single dragon in that game.
Their objective control was really great. I mean, we did touch on the objective control, but we didn't actually touch on the control of the lanes. So the dragon as well. So we're talking about the lanes split in there. They were so open on the map, but we didn't really talk about the dragons. And they had that cloud drake. They had 2 mountain drakes. They had the perfect, for the way they were playing it, they got the perfect drakes. They didn't need the infernal drake because what that offered them was damage. But the extra damage is always great, but the damage on the towers, the ability to roam around the map that Cloud Drake gave them, actually, they probably got the 3 drakes they took were the 3 best drakes. We've loaded back in, and it looks like we're going to get ourselves on top of a ward.
You can see
Ginyu Force have been pinged out, and the entire team knows it.
Yeah. I mean, what you were saying, that's why I really like the Earth Nation Drake. It does so much for those sieges that you can put on, especially when you've got something like an Ash team. However, that was then, this is now.
Either way, though, Young Base God has the ability to just take the blue buff.
Yeah.
He's going to walk up. His smite is going to take it instantly with, I can't remember Ivan's passive's name. Friend of the Forest. So he's going to use Friend of the Forest. Oh, look at me.
Yeah.
He's not actually going to use it, though. Oh, no. They did wards, so Cassiopeia is a little low. You're not going to get a tower dive at level 1, but Young Base God, if he wants to make the smart move, he needs to take it because the whole team... Oh, it goes wide.
Look at
the whole team's on the other blue side.
On the side of Big Surrey.
So they're aware of that. Yeah, they do smite it straight away, yeah. I was wondering if he was going to go take the Gromp as well and just do a double clear, but no, they're not going to do that. See if Smiggy's going to do the same. He does go so low. This is the problem with Zach in the jungle. Well, yeah. Zach's early jungle is he struggles so hard with it.
He is wandering around in enemy territory at the minute. He does just have to be a little bit on the cautious side. He does still have his smite available to him, so he's looking to really just burst these wolves down.
I wonder if they're aware that he would be there and they might send the Blitzcrank in just to go on a scout. It doesn't look so. But Young Base God is walking towards him and he's going to not catch him on it. So unless he takes that plant out and gets the vision clear, and then they would literally have the easiest job. Oh no, Smiggy, he's going to get found at the camp. They're going to see him there. Let's see what's going to happen. There's the snare. The Gromp's on him as well. The damage is coming down. However, Plaztech goes into something like that's that return trade coming down. The Never Grasp is there. Young Base God does get knocked up, does get pinned away. That was a really good clear of the camp. And now Rob Knows is here. Rob knows that he needs this first blood, knows that he needs this damage, but Young Base God is going to have to run away. He gets the flash out and Plaztech lands the damage. And it looks like Rob Knows is not long for the world. First blood goes on to Mr. Beast Gamer.
Just to get that final fight coming out. Plaztech, Mr. Beast.
They're going to go there. He used the Void Links to actually close the distance. The exhaust comes down from Plaztech. He has the knock-up available. It is, however, sidestepped by something R. He is shielded by Mr. Beast Gamer. Takes a chunk of damage on the way out. And Joe Witt and Larkin are like, what's going on, guys? We just come far.
Now, one of the worst things about that is the person who did fall was Rob Knows. Rob Knows stuck around to try and get the kill off on Zach. However, Zach has cell division. So much was invested to try and pop that passive for Zach. And that was what happened. Rob Knows staying around for so long in the end. Such a heavy trying to...
There's a grab under. He does not have access to the knock-up because he's solo. Mr. Beast Gamer gets out on absolutely no health and something asserting dominance in this bot lane. So it looks like that last game did not affect Ginyu Force. And good on them.
What's really useful for that is Mr. Beast Gamer is going to have to retreat for that. There's no choice about it at all. This means that Rob Knows is going to have a chance to have some really, really easy farming on there.
There's the grab.
Boy gets caught.
He does get pinned in place, and Joe Witt is going to turn himself invisible and try and get himself out of danger. Weird.
Flash burn from that? I think he used his flash on the way out.
Weird. That was a really good condemn from Noodle Boy, though.
Yeah.
Pins Ellipsis into the wall, so Ellipsis can't knock him up, and Rob Knows was not quite close enough because he was clearing the wave of pushing into him.
Yeah, he just needs that CS. He is over 10 CS behind at the moment. Just because of that death early game gave Noodle Boy a couple of free waves of farm there. That's why you didn't want to burst everything forward, especially when you think that Noodle Boy...
Oh, here comes Young Base God. Can he get the kill? That is it. The he goes a little bit wide. The snare's not there. The shield from Young Base God is also not going to be used completely at the right time as they land so much damage. Well, just a little bit too little damage. The knock-up just gets blocked by the spell shield, and that is where something R is going to really come through.
Yeah, try to predict the sidestep there. Whether it was on purpose, whether it was accidental, Larkin chose to just stay the course and move forward. TP is going to be burnt to get himself back into lane so he doesn't lose.
He's trying to
those
predict
waves.
the flash, is what chat's saying.
Yeah.
It's one of the things where you do get an insight for what's actually going on. Where you can see the chat. I don't know if the Twitch stream actually has that as well. Joe Witt doing a relatively decent job actually to stay up in CS, considering he's into a really unfavorable matchup for him. Larkin on Cassiopeia. I'm amazed they didn't ban this. Actually, by the time this wave is done, if he does choose to go for it, he will actually get the CS advantage in this lane. So actually, all in all, not too bad on the side of Joe Witt because of that gank, and they forced the wave into Larkin. And Larkin either had to stick or back, and I believe he back and TP back into the lane. Something R, Blaztech going away in this mid lane. That was a good knock up onto Something R. Something R missed the Cooler Than Ever, did not land the stun, and Joe Witt goes forward, doing the same thing every time actually, doing it really well. With the Elastic Slingshot is there, and Joe Witt is going to get pinned up. It looks like Larkin's going to take down Joe Witt.
Yeah, he
Good
gets
gank.
extra points for extra CS for flashing his masteries, I believe. One thing I really want to talk about
Extra
is
bronze
just
points.
the extra bronze points. Yeah,
Oh.
jeez.
Sorry, I just get triggered when people do that.
One of the things I want to talk about real quickly before this has been a really quick-paced match to begin with. Actually, 2 kills onto the side of Big Surrey. The jungler item choices. Ivan's actually gone for that skirmishing saber. It's really bizarre. I would
rather the
prefer to
warding
see
one.
him with the poacher's knife, which is what Zach has gone for. Zach spends all his time leaping over walls, getting
Tracker's
into
ward.
weird angles for the for his ganks. Those wards are really going to help him out. They're also just going to be one of the things that Big Surrey did really well last game is just really, really good warding.
Yeah.
Good vision control all over the map.
If we look at the CS here, Vayne 53 to 63 CS here. Straight back with the BF sword and the Cole. Actually, I think he started with the Cole. I'll have to check that later. But it looks like he potentially started with the Cole. Either way, he's got that kind of snowball that we were talking about, getting that item lead, getting that gold
This is what
advantage.
Vayne didn't have last game in the hands of Rob Nose.
It looks like we might get ourselves a bit of a fight here in the mid lane. Smiggy is
Ooh.
forced to flash from the grab. Doesn't want to go into Something R, who did have Never Grasp available to him, did have the Voidlings, did have the damage. Just for that last chapter.
Last thing you want to do as well is if your mid lane has been doing a really good job of pushing back the enemy mid laner, don't run and give them a kill. Flash
was,
was burnt just to get out of there.
That was a really good job actually from Joe Witt. Although the potion completely nullifies the trade, what he does is he goes in, hops forward. I can't remember what the ability's called. I'll have to look it up.
What you were saying earlier, just about this top lane here, you were mentioning. You were talking about Malzahar, but you mentioned that Casper has a lot of return damage. You get the damage on your way out. That is the problem that Joe Witt's finding. He's playing it really well by just sort of poking in. Ivan, Young Base God, looking for the push. Here's Daisy.
Joe Witt does get pinned in place. Daisy is thrown down, and there's the ultimate thrown down from Joe Witt. Joe Witt knocks him up. Young Base God gets the kill.
Joe Witt so low, but a good set of ults. And also nice use of Young Base God summoning the brush to break the targeting on Joe Witt is why he survived that.
So Joe Witt did a really good job of what he does in the lane is he Nimbus strikes his forwards and then he decoys.
Yes.
So he hops forward, so he slams the so he goes in with the Nimbus strike, gets the crushing blow, then decoys before Larkin can do anything to react. And then that allows him that lane, that kind of pressure, so he can't lose the damage. Even though Something R is going to come in for a gank. The silence is there from Something R onto Mr. Beast Gamer. Noodle Boy running a little bit low. The exhaust is thrown down on him, and he is extremely low. Is forced to pop the ultimate. He can roll forward with a tumble. I think he's got the damage here. Good stun, but no. Rob Nose secures himself a kill in that lane. That was a really well played gank.
Save the
fight
90
bot.
caliber net to get the hit shot execute off the really well executed plan. In fact, coming up from Rob Nose. Rob may not know how to play Vayne, but if there's one thing Rob knows, he knows how to play Caitlyn, as he displays a really nice mechanical understanding. And there's that technique.
Oh, the decoy
once
damage
again.
even hit.
Yeah.
But this time he does take the poison, does take the damage.
Hello.
But there's Young Boy's God. He's going to go forward. The Cyclone is not available this time. But Joe Witt slays Larkin for the second time. He is not happy about that last game. Good 90 caliber in that to pin him off the mantra-inspired Q. No, the inspired mantra.
Yeah. I mean, they're playing this early game really well. I mean, we were saying that the late game was going to play out really well for them, but Big Sur have just been a lot they've been a bit more lax. And again, another.
We've had the Let's Bounce
push
thrown down.
forward.
Young Base God does miss his cue very slightly there.
Predicting the flash.
Did predict the flash, I guess. 90 caliber net's there. The knock-up is there. The tilt over Peacemaker is potential, but Noodle Boy wants it. Good grab from Ellipsis. Can Mr. Beast Gamer get dropped? No. Rob Knows is forced to flash. Gets condemned into the wall. The silence is not available. The headshot shot is there, but it's too little. It is too late. Teleport was thrown down by Larkin, but he was not needed. That's Summoner Spell disadvantage in the side of Big Sorry, but they did gain a kill.
They did. Tunneled so hard against Mr. Beast Gamer. I mean, what happened there is after going forward so far, Rob Knows realised one way or the other Noodle Boy was going to take him out. What he did was desperately try and focus Mr. Beast Gamer to at least get himself a kill on the way out. Unfortunately, it didn't work out too well. Tornado is available, and so is Zach.
He has the spell shield available,
slingshot.
though, so they're going to have to use a lot to get him in the air so Aztec can get a kill. Again, more trading, really good job. He has the Thunderlords as well, so he's really looking for the path. There's Nevergrasp onto Plastech. Plastech's got the minions, got the damage. He does land the knockup, but probably would have saved his life on the Voidlings there. Really well played.
Burn his flash to get out
He
of there.
did have to burn his flash, but a good escape on his behalf. Damage wasn't quite there from Something R quite yet.
I wonder how he feels about taking that exhaust now. I mean, in the early game, he did get very, very close a couple of times to taking out Something R, and because he had the exhaust rather than the ignite, he just didn't have quite the same kill pressure.
Oh, Young Boy's God has found Mr. Beast Gamer as the ultimate comes through from Rob Knows, securing himself the kill.
A grassy knoll in the lane. Rob Knows punches forward with the ace in the hole.
Looks like Larkin's going to pin him in place. Joe Witt running a little bit low. That was a good dodge. The Cyclone's there. Larkin's going to get himself dropped. Joe Witt goes 2-1.
He's dueling so much better in this top lane. He's just coming in and out against
A
Larkin.
lot more comfortable on that lane.
Yes,
you can see this.
so much.
This
so
is
much
really
more.
good because this is the team who lost, who got absolutely stomped, but actually they're not behind in tempo too much. Yes, they're down in gold, but they do get themselves their first dragon.
Which they didn't get last
They
game.
didn't get a
need
single dragon.
to stop this tower push going on, and it looks like they're showing their
It is
face
the
if they're
Ocean
gonna stop
Drake.
that.
It is the Ocean Drake, but it's not the end of the world. It's still a decent Drake. It gives them some lane
Zach
sustainability,
will like it.
especially with Joe Witt, who's trading so heavily with Larkin. Now he's got that extra little bit of kind of mana and health regen. He can continue to do that for longer without having to recall.
Yeah.
Rob Knows, again, if they lose a trade unfavorably, they have the range advantage to continue to wave clear.
Yeah.
So that's going to keep him alive. So all in all, there could have been better Drakes, but that is by no means the worst Drake they could have picked
Well,
up.
especially-
Ellipsis misses the grab, and it looks like they're going to go straight onto him. The exhaust is thrown down, and the ultimate is there. Here comes the elastic slingshot. A little bit overconfident, but Noodle Boy still manages to pick himself up the kill. Plastech was roaming down. Wasn't needed.
Yeah, Big Surrey are down, but certainly not out here. One really nice thing about the Ocean Drake being taken by Ginyu for swag there is, yeah, you're right. For their team, it's not the best Drake. However, for Big Surrey, it's a really, really nice Drake. Karma will benefit from it. Yasuo will benefit from it. Zach will benefit from it.
Well, it looks like they're going to come through. Daisy is thrown down onto Smiggy as the root caller pins him in place. Rob Knows is going to get himself pinned up with the Nevergrasp under tower. Something. He's ready for that. That was a really good play. Lots of ultimates expended. They need to try and take this tower with this, however. Let's see whether or not they can do it. As Something R does not have his spell shield available to him as he takes an extreme amount of damage. Smiggy, elastic slingshots into lane, but it does not connect.
They're just playing so much more solidly. I mean, a big thing is Something R and Joe Witt swapping those lanes has been so good for them.
You're going to have to hold the phone because it looks like Young Base God is there. Daisy's going to chase down, but Daisy is going to get knocked up. So is Peter Crouch. They're going to continue to push, but it's going to be too little, not enough there. This may be the lane they're going to look to push first then with Yasuo. Yasuo's wave clear isn't particularly there. He has to stand in the minion wave to clear the wave. And there's the flash. There's the grab. The wind wall's a little bit weird, but it got used, I guess.
Over the wall!
Here comes the elastic slingshot onto two. There's the last breath coming through. Young Base God gets himself one kill. Smiggy gets the other. Sorry, Young Base God gets dropped, however. Ellipsis all alone in this lane. Has grab. Has the overcharge not available to him. Not the overcharge, the ultimate. Again, I'm tripping over my words.
Rob Knows is in there, able to clear the wave before anything too big can happen. Using the Zale and the BF sword is in that mid-game power dip at this moment in time.
Smiggy
Another elastic
coming onto
slingshot,
Joe
perfectly
Witt.
done.
Joe Witt does decoy himself, so actually avoids most of the damage possible there. Not overall, all in all, not the worst, but it looks like Big Surrey are going to get themselves the first tower of the game.
Caitlyn cannot fight this bot lane on
Stuck
her
with it.
own. needs something with her to help it. Looks like Smig might look to get another gank. No, he is moving away from that, gonna head mid instead. Just like that, Big Surrey turned the table so quickly. The gold differential, despite the fact that a dragon is in the pocket of Ginyu for swag, that tower and that wonderful fight in the mid lane, such a powerful advancement from Zach there, has put them ahead by quite a few thousand gold.
And it swung the tempo massively in their favor. So actually, yes, they won that fight, and they were going relatively even. This game was relatively even right until that mid lane fight, just gained them so much. Now we're going to see if Ginyu Force squad can pull themselves back. They're down, but they're not out. They're Wukong's winning lane incredibly efficiently, considering that's a losing lane, and he's winning against a scaling champion.
But they've done it just before I could mention it. Once again, Noodle Boy and Mr. Beast Gamer push forward and take their tower. They're now going to swap, which is going to allow Larkin
hold the
that
phone,
farm.
the damage is there. Something does get never grasped in place, and here comes Young Boy God. It looks like the Daisy's going to get thrown down. The shield was used on the wrong target, and he shielded Daisy instead of Something That was a bad error, but cost them dearly in that mid lane.
Something has gone down again. I mean, if one thing to take silver linings where you can, Plastech has fallen. Gonna get spotted out. Young Base God is gonna get hit a couple of times in the mid lane. Very difficult to go on, and when you've got Daisy with him, especially when you don't know where the rest of the team is.
Daisy just runs at you.
Yeah.
Get back.
Gives you a flower and then smashes you up into the air. It's horrible. But I mean, look at this. Joe Witt is starting to really struggle against a Vayne and a Karma in her lane. And it's this, once again,
thing they did,
this really good lane management that I was literally talking about it as they did it.
Joe Witt
once
can't
again
clear the wave.
Them. He can't.
Unless he uses Cyclone to clear the wave, which actually he's got to hop forward. He does do a lot of damage. Got to remember, this guy's massively ahead, but he has built a Maw, so he's built Magic Resist. So he can kind of block what Mr. Beast Gamer can do to him, but not Vayne.
What they've done again is, instead of just going, great, okay, tower's been taken, let's go, they've made sure that they've left the lane in a state that Larkin can handle. They've not left him with an 8-0 Caitlyn with 12 Infinity Edges to her name. They've made sure that Caitlyn is behind in CS. She's in that mid-game power dip. She only has the BF Sword Gazelle and the Berserker's Greaves.
Oh, Joe Witt. He is pinned in place. Cyclone is there, but he gets condemned away. He has to use the flash. That is a Vayne's passive, remember, so she can chase him down. Does get himself out. That was really almost a 1v2.
Really cautious.
Mr. Beast Gamer chases him down, though.
Held
not
my
going to get
breath
himself in.
on that pulse coming out from Karma that almost caught Joe Witt on the way out. But this is going to be another tower. Noodle Boy, just like last game, setting up these wings, just clipping them. So Ginyu Force has to take a step back every time they do anything. Now, Smig hasn't popped off in quite the way he did last game, but if you've noticed, he's still been a presence. He's still been a real presence across the map. Whereas Young Base God, most of his ganks are targeted top lane.
There's the elastic slingshot onto Ellipsis. Ellipsis is going to chase on. Rob knows, pumping out the damage. The Piltover Peacemaker's there, and now Smiggy's starting to run low. Rocket Grab comes through, and he has the knock-up available to him. The Exhaust is also thrown down. The Never Grasp, as he tries to slingshot himself away.
Cell Division.
Now he's going to get forced into Cell Division, and keep in mind that Cassiopeia is forced to flash, so they can't keep him alive. Joe Witt now needs to chase on. He Nimbus strikes forward. There's the ace in the hole. Larkin running extremely low. The poison is there. The slow is there. The crushing blow comes down from Joe Witt as one more Nimbus strike secures him there. Now Daisy has been thrown down onto Plastech. Plastech has his ultimate, has the knockup. There's the last breath onto 2. He's running extremely low. He does manage to get Noodle Boy a kill as the Malefic Visions is not quite enough. Something comes through the Call of the Noi. The Never trying to silence him, but it did not hit the targets it needed to. Root Cooler goes a little bit wide.
Plastech with a fantastic tornado cutting through there. Doesn't matter how much the Prophet of the Void can see, he could not see that as it slammed through the team, pushing them forward, just creating a void in themselves as it just smashes down on top of them. It was such a good play.
A big part of that was Something used his Never Grasp on the Zac for the pick, and look at the damage. Again, Young Boy's got his shields have been a little bit questionable. His early game was fantastic. Larkin comes in, Yos throws down the miasma, forcing the flash out of something off. There's a grab onto Larkin. Larkin gets pinned in place with his Nevergrass, but he does get dropped by Noodle Boy. Noodle Boy with a double kill on the Vayne.
This is a slightly more even game in terms of the kills and the objectives, but now it's starting to come apart at the seams for Ginyu Force Swag. Noodle Boy, Mr. Beast Gamer, Plaztech, Smig, and Larkin have found the chink in the armor and they're starting to exploit it. They figured out last game, Ginyu Force Swag does not have great wave control. They don't have great lane management, and they're exploiting that now. Yes, Joe is about
Literally
to get
the
that
same thing
outer
as well.
turret, but they're about to get an inner turret on the side
first
of the bot
turret
lane.
was the top lane turret, which actually something R pushed last time, not Joe Witt. It's annoying because I said annoying, it's frustrating to watch because Joe Witt played a very, I wouldn't say poor game, but he played from behind all game last match. This game, he's been the carrying force, the strong force. Smiggy has that Magnific Visions on him, and he's taking a lot of damage from the Voidlings. The ultimate comes through from Plaztech. There's the Elastic Gunshot. Something R running extremely low. The static field silence is there. Something R does manage to get himself dropped in the end as Young Boy God gets not the kill. He gets dropped, and now the Miasma's there. That was a massive trade. That was a 4-for-1 in favor of Big Surrey.
Now, unlike last time, they do not have Noodle Boy with them, so the early Baron is not going to be attempted. However, they are just going to go straight for the tower instead and just continue to tighten this stranglehold technique. They once again are exerting on Ginyu Force Swag. Another tower is going to fall. It's starting to fall apart at the seams for Ginyu.
And Rob Nose is in that Caitlyn power dip at the moment. Got that Hurricane, hasn't got that Infinity Edge. It's a couple more, well, she still needs 1 or 2 more items before she really comes back online. However, Noodle Boy on the Vayne. Vayne is a champion, but once it starts getting rolling, it just like kind of just keeps rolling and goes off.
It's a tumble, not a roll on Vayne.
Very funny.
But that early
like
Baron
once again, yep, sticking to their fight. This is going to be something we're going to need to look out for the next few weeks. If they get through, are they going to take these early ones? But Joe Witt comes through. Great Cyclone. Knocks up the team. Noodle Boy gets dropped up. That's the double kill onto the Wukong. And it looks like that's going to be almost the 4-man ultimate. He's not quite that silly. Looks like Caitlyn managed to pick himself a
Baron
kill.
onto themselves.
They're going to pick the Baron
up.
There. Young Boy God is running a little bit low, but they have Daisy, so they have that additional member. They have Caitlyn, who does have the Hurricane and the BS sword, so the damage isn't explicitly lacking. They have so many minions working for them. The Malpharic Visions, they've got the Voidling, they've got Daisy, and they make this Baron go down so easily. Good take, good return from Ginyu Force there.
That was something we didn't see them do last game. They didn't form up well enough after fights. They used to, in the last game, they got hit and they ran and they didn't want to deal with it. Good counter as well, but it looks like Plaztech is going to find him, not really paying attention. He's going straight for Joe Witt.
Joe Witt needs to go invisible, and he needs to go invisible very soon. He has the minion wave. This is the perfect time for Plaztech to chase him down. He's going to get the Q chagged up. He has the knock-up available to him that he sees, but Joe Witt is just going to get away, and he's not going to chase it.
Just moves away. One thing Big Surrey has been doing very well in both games, they've not been thirsty with their kills. It would have been so easy seeing Joe Witt on the healthy word as a Yasuo as well. It would have been so easy to just keep chasing. But if you looked at where the positions of other people were, you saw Ellipsis coming in from the flanks, you saw Rob Nose getting ready as well. They were formed up, so instead of chasing hungrily, Plaztech did the simple thing. He pushed forward, he checked the range on his tornado, and then he said, "No, you know what? Just take the range instead. Let's just go back and rethink this."
So Plaztech has also picked himself up the QSS, and so has Noodle Boy. So yes, they're ahead in gold, but keep in mind that's about 3,000 gold of this gold lead spent on quite a defensive item. So they lose a bit of that combat stat. They do gain the ability to cleanse CC on 2 members, which you have to do into Malzahar. You can no longer ultimate Plaztech, you can no longer ultimate Noodle Boy without already burning an ability. And lips this with a grab, very close.
Almost hit Plaztech on the back.
Oh, Joe Witt
does get caught.
He gets miasmed, but he does get shielded. That shield was on time.
Yeah. Good work. Well done. Good shielding coming online. But again, look at this poor wave management. They did get the Baron off, but look at the pushing wings in the side there. They're just pushing against them all the time. The Baron is helping them defend against
It's actually a really good bush because they can't see them in the bush. So they actually closed themselves off, which meant they had to kind of peel away because they didn't know exactly what was going on in the bush. Joe Witt, 5-1 on the Wukong. Can he carry? He's gone for that tanky build as well, which actually I'm quite happy to see. I don't know why they didn't just let Young Boy take that. It's charged up. There you go. And now you can give it to something else. That was weird.
Yeah, a little bit weird. A little bit of a disagreement in the Ginyu Force Swag squad there. But in the time it took them to have that disagreement, Big Surrey have taken the chance to push forward. Now, Caitlyn, you did mention this early game. Caitlyn, she's got that Infinity Edge now. She's got that Runan's Hurricane now. She's all decked out to refute against sieges. So the pushing that Big Surrey can put down, as long as Caitlyn's there,
Larkin. Here comes Smiggy. Smiggy actually targeted the decoy dummy. So Joe Witt wins the trade really efficiently there. Noodle Boy's there. He has the shield from the Karma. Mr. Beast Gamer's there. Remember, they're pushing into Baron buff. Cyclone gets popped. It does do enough to knock them up in the air. Fantastic grab onto Noodle Boy. Noodle Boy gets static fielded, but he does get dropped to Joe Witt. Nimbus strikes forward one more time. Tech is also there. That was a Nevergross to secure a kill onto the backline there. Killing Larkin. Shutdown comes through onto Tech as he gets one. He gets two. He's going to go a bit more deep. He gets himself dropped. Double kill onto the Malzahar.
This is the push that goes really nicely. One thing that might have been a little bit difficult to see in the middle of that, Mr. Beast Gamer with the new item of Redemption called that healing light beam down in such a place that it was over where Plaztech was dancing. Unfortunately, it was not enough. A really, really good turn. All started when, not Larkin, sorry, Joe Witt pushed forward into that really nice choke point. He was positioned in such a way that the Condemned did not stick him to the wall.
One thing to talk about is they actually used the longest lane to push because they won that fight in that lane, so they took that wave as their lane to push. They did have Baron buff. Baron buff is not long for the world anymore, but they did secure that tower. However, they didn't get mid lane, so
no, they didn't.
They rode because of the way where the fight was taken. The only wave that was efficient for them to push was that top lane, and top lane's tower was the inner tower left, so they had to go all the way down, force the minion wave down, which actually gave Big Surrey some time to come back. We've had triple Ocean Drake here. Though.
Yeah, it's from somewhere beyond the sea. Looks like Planzak is going to drop for me. He gets out of there.
Plaztech is running solo. Does get himself out, but it now is all on them to get themselves that Earth Drake.
This push is horrible. It's just awful. You can't see who's in there. They do manage to get themselves the Ocean Drake. This is not doing a massive amount for their team, as we talked about. However, it's really, really good denial against Big Surrey to just take.
They're pulling themselves back. They're actually only 4,000 gold down at this point.
Which is very impressive, bearing in mind they're 3 towers behind.
And they were further down, so actually that fight in that top lane, that Baron take, that next Ocean Drake taken, it's not completely over for Ginyu Force, and they've done a good job. Joe Witt really showing off that actually top lane is his lane.
Yeah, really, that switch has really done wonders for them. Big Surrey are down for the minute, but they are not out. Although, very, very far forward. You've got to be so careful.
But there's Mr. Beast grabber. He's going to get grabbed, not Mr. Beast Gamer. And now Joe Witt is going to get forced invisible. Throws down the Cyclone. There's another field as well. The Redemption gets thrown down. That's a knock up onto Joe Witt, but Joe Witt gets shielded and he decides not to chase into the static field of Ellipsis.
His very smart default. He knows that with Smig on his team, he knows he can get much, much larger knockups. So
lots of wards to clear here.
Yes, so a lot better warding and vision control from the side of Ginyu Force Swag this time. However, they are once again being driven back. They're waiting for these counter pushes they can put down.
Their counter engage is a lot stronger.
Yes.
Their wave management's not there, so this is a team where they're not going to win it on the wave management. Big Surrey have clearly shown that they're more experienced, so that they're a better team at this kind of like lane management and this kind of macro play. However, what we have seen is Ginyu Force are not a bad team at fighting. They can come back from fights that they're down on. They picked a very kind of like good CC comp, because that's what you need when you're down in a series, when you kind of feel these guys are really good at these technical champions. You need to just pick stuff that can lock them down. And Joe Witt takes a lane, but actually he should have lost, and he played it extremely well. And then he also, even if he had lost that lane, he still would have had Cyclone, so he still would have been some use to his team. But he won the lane, so actually now he's an even more threatening force.
Well, the way he played that lane was exactly the way I wanted to see him. They have a Caitlyn in the team. They're going to do everything they can to stretch out the game past the 30-minute mark, which is normally around the time that Caitlyn sort
Yeah.
of really wakes up. So what he did is he didn't do what he did last time, which was go in really hard, miss all his abilities, and get caught out for it. Instead, what he did is he sat back and he just poked to make sure that Larkin couldn't push forward. Lots of vision put down on this Baron. Big Surrey do not want the same thing to happen again. They are really resisting it. They are in a position where maybe a Baron trap
grab.
might be a good tactic for them. But as you've said, in these, especially in these small jungle passages, the counter engage is so strong. If you
Especially
don't
if
get
you're lined
straight
up.
onto Caitlyn, you're going to feel it on the way out.
Especially if you're lined up with Daisy, because Daisy can knock you all up in a line. So if you have a
Yeah.
small space, actually Daisy's very efficient. They haven't taken this inner tower, this outer tower in mid lane yet.
A
So
little bit cautious to move forward, even though they have got 2 wards in the same bush, double protection.
good to see.
Just
if
desperate to
Caitlyn-
not push forward.
not
just
maxing traps.
yet.
Actually, max
Yeah.
Piltover and Calibernet. So what that does mean is you can't get that siege, which you kind of expect Caitlyn to do, especially one who was behind. Her job should have been that. That was a 2-man knock-up, but they decided not to take it. Mercurio's Scimitar is now finished on Noodle Boy, so he has some lifesteal in his build.
Yeah. Plastech wants to wait for the knock-up to go down on the right people. Something R needs to be in it. Caitlyn needs to be in it. Joe Whip probably needs to be in it as well. Rob Nose in particular is a real heavy target for them. That's who they're going to want to take, because that's where the huge amounts of damage are coming from at this moment.
Grab! Oh, Plastic! He gets cyclone. He gets dropped. There's the Daisy. They're going to try and find themselves as much as they can. Root Cooler. Let's Bounce gets thrown down and it's going to try to get as much as possible. Lips is running extremely low. The Nevergrass comes through. There's the Malnet Spirit Visions. The grab lands onto a minion. Young Boy, God! Hopes forward with the Hexatech Proto Belt. And now Smiggy. He's got an elastic clean shot himself forward. Takes a headshot for his face, and Rob Knows puts out the damage. There is no Noodle Boy, there is no Plastech. The carries are down. Larkin is too far behind at this point. Let's
If
see
he gets
if
a
they're
good
gonna
hit
drop the
on
tower.
Joe Witt, he will take them down. But yes, far too far behind. Another elastic slingshot gets
That's
slightly
Joe Witt
wide.
with the damage. He's gonna get shielded up. That was life-savingly good shield. Ace in the hole did not
Ticks
use
down.
something. Oh!
He gets ticked down by the, what was it, the Malfuric Vision?
Malfuric Vision.
The bad nightmares pushed him down there
Space
on
Age,
his way out.
but I'm trying to get out of saying Space Age.
Well, you just said it twice there.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Whatever. But however, that was a really good play there.
This is actually tower number 2 potentially.
Well, this is
They
a
have
lot there.
they have the Voidlings as well. They have Young Boy who's they don't even need it. They actually still take it with their minions. So really strong play. Ginyu Force bouncing back.
Yeah, one thing that was very weird there, that I wasn't really sure I agreed with it. Plastech went down. Plastech went down, you know, he got caught out by the grab, that's fair enough. Then everyone started engaging in without him. Noodle Boy then went down after that. That's the point where you go, right, no, stop. We've not got the damage for this. You're right, Larkin is currently too far behind. He's got them. Oh, I hate this item so much. Why is it such a key item? He's got the Morella Lelelelcom. I can never say it.
You actually made me Morella Nemel.
Yeah, good one. Take that, nerd. He's also got the Raleigh's Crystal Scepter, but he just doesn't have the damage to give out. Which means that once Plastech is gone and once Noodle Boy is gone, there's not a huge amount of damage on the side of Big
That
Surrey.
Morella is actually quite good because it counters the redemption.
Yes.
What it does is because obviously the healing, it does give that healing cut because of the grievous wounds. So actually, it's not an awful item. I mean, I'd say like it's a very good item. It's a standard item. Looks like Big Surrey are going to try and get themselves the first, well, their first national of the game, national number 2. They are doing it on top of a ward, but everyone is not near. Cyclone is available, so this is going to have to be a fight. They're going to have to clear it at the end, or are they just going to peel away? Yes, that was what Big Surrey needed. They shouldn't have taken the fight because they are losing every fight. Good swing around from Big Surrey.
So what they've done, by getting that Baron and not taking the fight, importantly, which you mentioned. Now, one other thing you mentioned earlier that was very, very important, Caitlyn has not been maxing those traps. She's not the siege breaker that she has the potential to be at this moment in time. What that means, they've given themselves something to help them siege. Caitlyn is not in a position to stop that siege. That's one of the things they're looking to do. Instead, Ginyu for swag, I'm going to leave back and get First Dragon King that is not an Ocean Drake.
Yeah, and it's a Cloud Drake, so a little bit of movement available to them. And Lips has almost pulled someone into the thing. I don't know if that's what you want to be doing. Joe Witt hops forward.
Last Whisper
Turns
onto
himself
Noodle
into
Boy,
a,
really good item, bearing in mind he's getting focused down so hard. It is really, really important for Big Surrey that Plaztec and Noodleboy stay alive. Larkin is not in a position where he can lend too much into these fights.
No, not at all. Larkin, I mean, he's getting there now, but he is 2-8, so he's still so far behind. He's at this point, he is just a slow machine, and he needs to be able to tidy up the fights. So he's got the Petrifying Gaze. So he has Petrifying Gaze to kind of lock the team down. The team have been playing very well against Petrifying Gaze. This is a huge minion wave, so they either need to take the fight or clear the wave. They do have a Malzahar who's very good at clearing waves, and so's the Caitlyn with that Hurricane. Yeah. So they actually take it out pretty easily, but that minion at the back is there. Larkin's going to get pinned in place. The grab hits the wrong target as Joe Witt cyclones. There's the ledge bounce. There's the last breath coming down. Yasuo gets the first kill of the fight, and that's the karma with the next one. Rob knows, has to get himself out as he gets knocked up. Larkin takes out the double kill. He's going for more. Here comes Faztec. Good flash away from
this is strong.
Up, but that was a really strong push. Big Surrey did start to look a little bit weak in that mid game, but they somehow pulled it back, take themselves down. Tower number 1. Can they take down the inhibitor? I believe so. Something R has not backed. This could be the game if they carry on with this push. Noodleboy has his ultimate available. Has his you know,
he has things
he
available,
has damage, and he has a kill.
Happen.
That's going to be tower number 1 drop. This looks like it's going to be the game. Mr. Beast Gamer tanking the tower. The damage is there from Noodleboy and Plaztec. Plaztec, Noodleboy, Big Sorry just walk over Ginyu Force Swag. 2-0 them in the best of 3. Trying to go for the style points. GG to Big Sorry, and we will see you at the semi-finals next week.
I thought you look really convinced with that. Actually, I was mainly just amazed that everything just fell apart. I was a little bit speechless. Everything just fell apart at the end. Now, a real big problem in that late game was with that last fight. First of all, there was a little bit of stuttering on the side of Ginyu for Swag. Now, they had the wave clear to deal with the siege. However, what they didn't have is the traps. So as soon as someone as tanky as Smig jumped in, the whole team just pours over. Had those traps been there,
he should have been maxing them.
He should have been maxing them. Absolutely. There was a massive point in that game where he was behind.
Well. He did Caliber and the Piltover, so it was his last max, which
he got some good picks with his gun. But then you look at the end of the game, he was 4-4-9. When you look at Noodleboy, was 7-4-5. So both ADCs didn't exactly get critical scores. However, Vayne showed up a lot harder. What Vayne did well is just identified problems so much better. So, for example, Noodleboy went, hold on, I'm getting CC'd a lot. Let me get a Mercurial Scimitar. Oh, hold on a second, I'm getting focused a lot. Let me buy a Last Whisper. Just identified the issues much better. The problem that Rob knows...
You mean GA, not Last Whisper?
That's what I meant. Yes, excuse me, the GA. Which obviously meant that getting killed was no longer a massive issue, especially with the healing that... Mr. Beast Gamer could put down with the redemption. Now, because Rob Nose didn't stack those traps, one thing that Ellipsis was looking to do was pull someone under that tower, beat them up while they were under the tower, and then move on to the next people. Had the traps been there, there would have been nothing that Big Sorry would have been able to do to stop that. What happened is Smig jumps in, mid-jump, Ellipsis actually pulled someone completely different. I believe he pulled Beast Gamer on. This meant that not only was Plaztec available for the ult,
yes,
but it meant that 2 of the very tanky members of the team went in. So Noodleboy, Larkin, who actually did loads in that last fight, and Plaztec just went, should we just wander under this tower and just kill them there?
It was a very convincing win there from Big Sorry. Right, with that, Big Sorry go through to the semi-finals. They will be taking on Louder Syrup next week. That'll be on Saturday the 19th. But on November the 18th, next Friday, Team Toke will be our first team in the semi-finals to take on Sweet Rhyhorn. We'll be coming on at 7 o'clock sharp-ish, depending on the teams, but about 7 o'clock. We'll see you next week, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.